while I was talking with them, they were saying that they were tired. You know, these guys is anywhere between 40, 45, 50 years old. And they've been in the system all their life, pretty much. So when I started understanding that, God just basically said, well, maybe we need to find these people. We need to find these individuals at a younger age. So he started giving me the idea of finding them when they're in their youth.
This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, my goodness, and we pass it along. Tune in and listen to us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we give you our story with the Lively Art of Conversation. Hey, you know what it is. It's that Sunday. It's that time. It is your guy. That's right, Dr. Duckett, the cultural enthusiast, the community facilitator. That right, that guy that just sparks the dialogue and the conversation for us today. It's 07:30 in the morning. And I know most of you guys are getting ready for church. But on your way to church, we're going to have this lively art of conversation where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. I have a special guest in the house for us today. But before I get to this special guest, I got to say thank you, guys. Thank you for each and every person that I encounter that's out on those streets that says, hey, man, I really do. I check out your show in the morning. I really like it. I appreciate those people that also are locked up that are hearing this, because I've had some people say, I did hear this while I was in. So I do appreciate you guys and those words that's out there. And then for all my guests that's been on the show, it has been a delight to work with you guys thus far. This show would not be a show without what? Without what? My underwriters. My underwriters make this show absolutely possible. And I really appreciate my underwriters because they have been with me for the long haul. And I'm looking for more underwriters. So if you're an underwriter and you want to be a part of this show, reach out to me at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com. But at this time, let's take a moment to acknowledge our underwriters.
This is Lavina Sabri with So Natural Catering and Bomb A Lemonade, and you're listening to the Lively Art of Conversation.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com. Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email tonyshelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach @gmail.com. because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit there and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. And you're back with the Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we pass it along. For most of you guys that might be tuned in, you're like, what is the Lively Art of Conversation and what does that mean? Well, let me tell you what the Lively Art of Conversation is. I would say close to about 20 years ago, I was with this gentleman by the name of Reverend Roscoe Harrison in this area, and he had a TV show called The Focus Show. And he would start the show off with, hello, this is Reverend Roscoe Harrison. You're watching The Focus Show, where we practice the lively art of conversation. And I told him I like that. And if I ever got a platform, could I use that? And he gifted me that. So this is where we're here. He has since passed on, but we still use the lively art of conversation and practice good, clean dialogue on this show. So you know what time it is. And if you don't know what time it is, you're about to find out what time it is. About this time, we have our word of the day. That's right, our word that we carry on for the whole week. So go ahead, reach for that pen, get that pad, open up that Android or that Apple, and let's get ready for the word of the day. But this word for the day is not going to be given by me. This word of the day is going to be given by my guest. And I will introduce him after he gives us the word, the quote, and the question.
The word for the day will be found in integrity. I believe that with integrity of character, you can withstand any pressure. That's the quote.
And what question would you like to give the audience to work on?
How do you find yourself struggling with integrity?
Wow. Integrity. How do you find yourself struggling with integrity? Write that down. That is work for us to do for this week. I'm definitely going to write that down, because integrity is a big thing, and integrity is always in check sometimes with me. So I like that. So without further ado, I have a guest here. Now, he's kind of new around this area, but most of the people that have known me knows that I'm always attached and interconnected with people that are doing great work. And this gentleman is a book author. This gentleman is a veteran. And this gentleman pretty much does the same work that I do, in the community and outside of the community, working with those that are either detained or in jail. Ladies and gentlemen, our guest for today is none other than Mr. Cornell Randolph.
How are y'all doing today?
How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. It's been a great day, a great week, and a great year thus far.
I appreciate you taking the time to be on the show. I met you, I think, by accident. Well, nothing's really by accident.
Right.
But I met you at an event, and I think my assistant, Mr. Great, was talking to you, and we found out about a book that you had, and I said, this is a book that needs to be inside the juvenile detention center with the boys. And then since then, you've been cleared to be in the juvenile detention center.
That's right.
And the work has started. But you've also been doing something very similar to what I do, and you do it with the adults.
Yes. I go to Travis. I think it's called Travis County,
yes,
out in Austin. And once a week on Thursdays, I go out and I have a conversation basically with the men that are there. Usually it's anywhere between 10 and 15 men. And we talk about basically integrity. We talk about my book, which deals with the total man. And it's just a conversation that I have with the inmates who's been incarcerated, but they've changed their minds and they want to do something positive. They're trying to figure out, how do I get out of here and this doesn't stay as a revolving door and I come back. So I've fallen in love with these men, and it's been awesome.
Yeah.
It's been awesome. It's been great But then while I was talking with them, they were saying that they were tired. You know, these guys is anywhere between 40, 45, 50 years old. And they've been in the system all their life, pretty much. So when I started understanding that, God just basically said, well, maybe we need to find these people. We need to find these individuals at a younger age. So he started giving me the idea of finding them when they're in their youth, because hopefully we can find them, grab them, get them out of that mindset that they're in. I heard a youth say the other day. He said that that I'm in demon time.
Demon time. Okay.
Demon time.
All right.
And when he said that, I'm like, what does that actually mean? And basically, what they believe is that they are beyond any restitution. Nobody can help them. So with that being in mind, my whole thing was, well, somebody can help you. And if it ain't nobody but God, somebody can help you.
Yeah, definitely.
So my thing was for God to come into me and try to get this book into the hands and the minds of youths.
Yeah, definitely. Let's do a flashpoint. Let's go back to the young Cornell.
Ooh.
Let's talk about you on your journey to be the man that you are today. Where are you from?
I'm originally from a little city called Gary, Indiana. At one particular time, it was called Murder City of the World, Murder Capital of the World. But you know, I'm now involved with integrity of character, but it didn't always start that way. My life didn't start like that. My dad basically left me when I was 5 or 6, and I learned how to be a so-called man through men who was playing the role, but they weren't my role models. You know,
Powerful. That is a powerful statement.
So in that, I learned streetwise. I kind of understood how men were supposed to do what they were supposed to do far as in the street. I knew how to manipulate women. I knew how to be angry all the time. I knew how to allow relationships to only benefit me. I had a very toxic masculinity approach to life because that's how we were taught in the 60s.
Okay. And let's go back just a little bit. Toxic masculinity. Please define.
Toxic masculinity is that environment where men choose to believe that they are the ones in control.
Okay.
That they are the ones who it's my way or the highway.
Yes.
You know, they are the ones who I call it who call the shots.
Okay.
You know, but that's not true masculinity.
All right.
See, to me, masculinity is a servant leader mentality.
Servant leader mentality.
Yeah, where you allow the individual that you are partnering with, be it in a conversation or be it in a relationship, with someone who you give them the grace. You give them the understanding that, hey, you can do this too, that we're side by side. This is not something that I am to lord over you, but I am to work with you in a partnership that will bring about an understanding that we both will grow, not just me.
Okay. All right. And would you say that you're growing up as a child, you were heavily involved with toxic masculinity or?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It was my way or the highway.
Okay.
I really did not, and this is going to sound kind of ironic, but I mean, and please don't take this the wrong way, because I loved women, but I didn't like him.
Okay.
See.
I've heard guys say that before.
You know, I didn't like him.
Yeah.
So my whole thing was, how can I manipulate you so I can ravage your camp,
Yeah.
but at the same time manipulate your mind so that I can get whatever I want from you. And
That's happening now.
yeah. And when I do that, now I'm looked at as the top guy on the street. You know, I'm the good guy.
Uh-huh.
You know, in a bad body. You know, I call that, you know, moys, you know, men in a boy's body. I mean, boys in a men's body.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and, you know, that was my approach. My approach was, how can I capture your mind before you realize that I'm a fool? Before you realize that I am really up to no good.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was how I did what I did. Because in my neighborhood, I guess I could say this, I don't know, but in my neighborhood, they had a running joke. And it's a pole rat that only got one hole. So what they told me was that I had to have multiple women.
Yes, yeah.
That there had to be notches on my bedpost that will determine how much of a man you were. And if that wasn't so, then you wasn't classified as a man. So I went through life not really understanding how to truly love a woman.
Yes.
Yeah. So and my whole childhood, because I didn't have a father.
Okay.
All right. Because I didn't have a father to help to guide me through this insecurity.
Okay.
So my whole life was basically a farce.
Wow. So, grew up in a single home.
Single mother. Single mom. But now here was the problem with my mom. My mom came from she was adopted. All right. My mom was adopted.
All right.
And you know, but my mom came from a lifestyle that was from the South. All right. And coming from the lifestyle from the South, she was raised Christian, good woman, but because her mother left her in a field one day, she couldn't quite understand how love really was, how it was supposed to be presented. Then on top of that, my daddy was adopted. So and right. So now here's my daddy, but my daddy was adopted into a kind of a well-to-do family. All right. So my daddy was smooth. He was suave, handsome. You know, he'd charm the women. You know, but when he met my mom was so innocent and pure that he thought that this would be the ideal woman to marry. But then, you know, two lives coming together.
Yes, coming together.
You know, with that kind of problem, you know, that kind of struggle, it didn't last long. 8 years, they were done.
Yeah.
You know, because my daddy never stopped cheating. I believe, you know, the song, you know, Papa Was a Rolling Stone was penned because of my daddy.
Wow.
You know, so my life back then was chaotic.
Okay.
You know, I had an older brother, but me and him didn't see eye to eye. I lived in a house of shadows. We were there. We all walked the corridors of the home, but we didn't connect.
Okay.
You know, we didn't connect because the connecting aspect was love. And even though my mother had I knew my mother loved me without a shadow of a doubt.
Uh-huh.
But how she shown it was difficult because she never got over my daddy. You know, like a lot of women now. You know, they find that guy who's no good, But they believe that this guy, for whatever reason, I ain't figured that out till today. Why?
Why, ladies?
Why do they believe that they can make him change?
Yeah.
You know, and my daddy never changed. So as time went on, my mom would, of course, we would hear the arguments and the things of this nature, and we were young, so we didn't understand any of that. The doors being closed, not speaking, so your house is quiet. It's kind of like silence throughout the house, and something's wrong, but you just didn't know what it was. Daddy comes in, he's with you for a while, and then all of a sudden he leaves. And mama's at work, and all of a sudden, mama realizes, she's trying to catch up with daddy, and my daddy's gone. He in the street.
Wow.
So he's leaving me and my brother at home by ourselves. So now my mom has to come home from work, and so it was a traumatic stage that I was in when I was young, because I just didn't quite understand it, But I loved my daddy, and this sounds so crazy, but I loved my daddy because he was my daddy. And my mama told me that that's what I had to do. But I didn't like the man. I didn't like him. He never told me anything about life. And I worked with him for about 5 or 6 years.
Wow.
But he never talked to me about life. Young man, this is how this is going to happen. This is how you should be able to stand. This is how you should talk to a woman. This is how you shouldn't get in trouble when you're with a woman by yourself.
Yeah.
All of those things that most boys learned. I used to look out the window, and when I looked out the window, I would see other kids and their fathers showing them or throwing the football to them, showing them how to play football, or even riding a bike. I learned how to ride a bike on my own. So it was just trials and errors. That's how I learned how to do what I did.
So moving forward, you grew up in Gary, Indiana, and you're a veteran as well, too. So what was that shift from leaving Gary, Indiana to becoming a veteran, or a Marine at that time, to join the military?
Wow, it's going to sound crazy. I woke up one day. I had been out of school for about 2 years. I was living in my mama's basement. All right, I was living in my mama's basement, and now I'm about 19 years old. And I woke up one day, and I'm working with my dad. All right, I woke up and I said, "Man, what's really going on?" I go out to my daddy's truck, who he's letting me use as the company truck, and it didn't start. All right. And so when it didn't start, I'm looking around like, okay, now I got to walk. I don't have enough money to live a life that a man should be living. So I got on my pedal bike and I rode it down to the recruiting station, signed up that day, came back, told my mother I'm be going to the Marine Corps in 30 days. And my mother was like, "Man, you're kidding. You're not doing that." And the only reason that I went to the Marine Corps was because when I walked into the recruiting station, they were, you have your Army, your Navy, your Air Force. The Marines was all the way in the back, but they was the cleanest dudes. That was the only reason that I went into the Marines, because that dude, he had his dress blues on, he had his shoes was shine, and he looked good. He looks fly. So I was like, I want to look like that.
Oh, man. This is Dr. Rodney Duncan, and you listening to The Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn. My goodness, we're passing along, and we'll be right back.
Words have power. They connect, heal, and inspire. That's the mission at Better Watch Your Tone, LLC, founded by Toni B. Shelton. She's empowering through powerful poetry and prose, with hundreds impacted through speaking events, workshops, and 8 self-published books. Ready to honor the story within? Discover books and coaching at betterwatchyourtone.com. For event poetry or book writing support, email tonyshelton@gmail.com. Let's use our words to uplift. Better watch your tone. Looking to elevate your brand or capture unforgettable moments? New Image Media offers top-tier videography, photography, personal branding, and more. They combine creativity and quality with fair pricing and friendly service so you get the results you want. Whether it's a business promo or special occasion, they bring your vision to life with quality you can trust. Choose New Image Media, where your image is everything. For more info, email media@newimagemiallc.com.
Hello. This is Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. As we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you our story. You bring your story, we give you our story, and our story is how we engage in our community. Everybody has a story, and we're waiting to hear your story. So if you're interested, reach out to us at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com.
You've built a life worth celebrating. Now it's time to be seen. At Las Foto de Lance Photography, they don't just take portraits, they capture the fire in your spirit and the power in your presence. Whether you're reclaiming your confidence, owning your story, or stepping into a new chapter, Las Foto de Lance Photography creates luxury images that reflect the real you. Visit lasfotodelance.net or drop by their Harker Heights studio. Las Foto de Lance Photography, unapologetically you, immortalized.
Hello, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Lively Art of Conversation. This is the place where you live, you learn, you earn, and you pass that wisdom along. Join us every Sunday from 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. as we bring to you the Lively Art of Conversation. This is a place where your life lessons becomes the experience and the wisdom for others to reach out and grab. If it's not for your test, if it's not for your mess, if it's not for your tragedies, and if it's not for your end, we'll never have the beginning for the next generation. We will never have the triumph the next generation can reach out and point the finger at. We'll never be able to understand the test that turned to the testimony. And my goodness, everybody's mess becomes a great dialogue for a message. So if you have a message and you would like to be a part of the Lively Art of Conversation, do not hesitate with just dropping me a email. That's right, with the Lively Art of Conversation @gmail.com. Because if you have an ad, if you have a book, if you have an event, or if you have something that you have to get off your chest in a constructive way to help others build, then grow, well, this is the platform for you. So feel free to reach out to me. That's right, your community facilitator, your cultural enthusiast, Rodney Duckett. That's Dr. Rodney Duckett. So hope to hear you soon on the Lively Art of Conversation. Tune in. This is a story worth listening to. This is Dr. Rodney Duckett with the Heritage Legacy Curators. You're looking for something for your kids to do this summer? Well, reach out to me at Impact Outreach, IMPAC Outreach @gmail.com, because Heritage Legacy Curators is all about collecting oral history. So if you have stories that you would love to pass down to your kids, or if you have a project that maybe your kids need to do as it relates to oral history, bring those family albums out and we'll sit down and we'll sort through those family albums, so that way we can collect those stories and keep those stories within the family, so that way they can be the next speakers to curate your family reunion. Hey, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett, and if you are a book author, if you have an event, or if you just want to be on the show, reach out to me at livelyartofconversation@gmail.com, and we're back with Mr. Cornell. That's right. He has talked about his journey from Gary, Indiana, into joining the Marines. You want to tell us about some of your duty stations you were on?
Woo! I went to Camp Lejeune. I started out at Camp Lejeune, all right, which is in North Carolina. Mm-hmm. All right. Then from there, I went overseas to Japan, Korea, the Philippines. And I saw over there something, it was like, that's a beautiful place, especially back then. It was phenomenal. And I really could not grasp what I was seeing, because I would come back and I would try to tell the fellas, man, I saw this or I saw that. Man, this culture is amazing. And they couldn't quite understand it. And that's what got me into photography. That's how I started shooting photography, because I took the photographer, I took the camera and let the camera be my voice. So I was telling stories through my photography work.
So self-taught?
Self-taught.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's awesome.
Self-taught. Until, then of course, now with mirrorless cameras and everything like that,
yes.
you have to go into, some of the schools to understand how it actually works, how light really flows and everything like that, and how to get the right aperture. But in the beginning, it was just an art that God gave me, that I really, because back then, we was doing, 35 millimeters. So, it wasn't that you can just put it up on a screen and see it.
Yeah.
So it was a lot different than it is now. But it was basically why I fell in love with photography, was through the Marine Corps, when I went overseas. Now, I didn't like the Marine Corps.
Why was that?
Because I came from a city that was predominantly black.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Gary, Indiana, predominantly black. 95% was black. And I get into a culture that now was pretty much Caucasian based.
Okay.
And I didn't know how to deal with them, because I went to an all black elementary school, all black junior high school, all black, high school. I didn't know one white person or Caucasian at all. Now, I would see them driving down the street, but by name, and I'm 19 years old, and I had never been around them to the point, because I worked with my dad.
Yeah.
So my dad was a general contractor.
Mm-hmm.
So we were remodeling homes of, quote unquote, our people.
Yeah.
So we very rarely had the opportunity of going on the other side. We knew not to go over there. We knew, we had what we call sundown time.
Oh, yeah.
We knew that we couldn't go past this place, this street right here, after dark. But as far as to understand the why, because like I said, I was raised up in the 50s and 60s, in the 70s. So by the time desegregation came and everything like that, we didn't really see that, because I'm in this town where it's majority black. So I didn't see a lot of the things that were called racism. So I didn't see that. I knew it was there, but my parents, because my dad had a good job, my mom had, she worked for the school system, so she had a good job, and, everything of that nature. So I never really saw how it was divided.
Okay.
So getting into the Marine Corps, I got it firsthand. I mean, I was getting office hours left and right because they were telling me to do things, and I was like, you can't talk to me like that. Who you talking to? Because, in my town, they taught us to be, to be respected. I was in youth organizations. I was president president of YES, Youth Ensuring Solidarity.
Yes.
And Focus Hope, and these were citywide youth organizations where the people were teaching us how to be proud of who we are. And then I go into the service and they're telling me, sweep that floor, boy. And I'm like, whoa, who you talking to?
Yeah.
You know, and I forget that, and I forgot that, you know, that you had to stay in your place.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say this because when he was in the detention center, when the kids met him for the first time, they couldn't guess his age. So they can't. And so he's talking about 50s and 60s. He doesn't look like he's from the 50s and 60s. Actually, he looks like he's about around my age, maybe even younger than me, but he holds on pretty tight here.
Well, the reason that is because what I believe, integrity of character.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't let things bother me. I really don't.
Mm-hmm.
I have a higher power that I believe in. I truly work on myself on a daily basis. You know, I wake up every morning, Lord, hey, just let me do better than I did yesterday.
Yes.
You know, so, but in the service, it was different because of the mere fact that they were in control of me. And I just didn't like nobody being in control of me 24/7.
Yeah. So let's talk about you now. You know, you're retired.
Yeah. I am.
And let's talk about the career path you the journey you took going into this retirement. What did you do for a living?
I was a diesel engineer.
Okay.
All right. And I learned that this is the crazy part because I learned that in the service, even though I didn't like the service.
Exactly. You got something out of it.
I got something out of it.
Yeah.
Plus, I got the GI Bill, so I went to school.
Yeah.
All right. I went to UCLA for a while, and but then once I got out of there, I still had that struggle because I didn't finish things. Mm-hmm. See, I still had that mentality of the street, where you get in a relationship, but you get out just as fast as you get in.
Understandable.
See, so I never really finished a lot, all right? Which, like a lot of men, we good at starting things, but we're not really good at the finishing product.
Yes.
So I finally understood that, okay, this ain't for me. So I get out and I continue on being a diesel engineer. Really and truthfully, now I like to say diesel engineer because it sounds real nice. It sounds nice. I was a diesel mechanic. Okay. But it sounds nice when I say engineer. See, I got to put that little part on there. See that's
okay. It's okay because it's pretty much the same thing. So yeah, so totally got you.
Yeah. So I spent 48 years as a diesel technician.
Wow.
I went up through the ranks. My last 10 years I was in management, and just got to the point where I just got getting tired, because the new generation that was coming in that you had to teach and get them to understand, they came in like they had been there forever. And I'm looking at them like, how do you hold a wrench? But yet still you ask them, hey, you do know you're supposed to be here on time. You see
that a lot.
You do know that you can't go into the bathroom and stay in there 45 minutes, right? You do understand that.
Yeah.
But so this new generation was different. They have a different philosophy on how they are to react to the various components of life.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was kind of fed up with it.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, enough is enough. So I took my pension, I took my money from California, and I packed up the car and I moved to Texas.
Oh yeah, everybody from California is loving this Texas down here. You can stretch $1 here in Texas.
Sure.
You really can. Let's talk about you being a book author.
Yeah.
What did the genesis of this idea? What was the spark? How did this come about?
I always have these I have these journeys, these moments, and they sound so profound. But and it's kind of funny. I had my sister-in-law is a missionary.
Okay.
Right? And she goes right now. She's in Bosnia, but at the time she was in China.
Okay.
So she asked me to come to China because she saw that of this character issue that I was dealing with. All right, and she said, "I want you to come because there's something that you have that these guys need." So I went to China. And I was sitting on the Great Wall of China.
Okay. All right. This is a story right here.
Yeah. I was sitting on the Great Wall of China, and God showed me this book idea. Now, this was 2013. I didn't write the book until 2019
Okay.
because I had to go through some stuff.
All right.
See, I had to go through some things. I had to find out what integrity really meant. I had to find out what surrendering means. Because the book deals with, for a matter of fact, the book is called The Total Man. It's called The Total Man because God showed me that men should have a holistic approach to who they are. Not just that you're a man, that you large and in charge, but that you have a set of core values. And that set of core values should be what moves you along in life.
Okay. All right.
So he showed me that through these years, he showed me that there were 7 core values that hinges a man's perspective of how they do things. Number 1, surrendering.
Okay.
All right. A man has to learn how to surrender. Now, my surrender is to a higher power called God. But we have to have a higher power that we surrender to. Order. All right. A man has to learn how to establish order in his life so that he can have peace and an understanding of what is out there for him to do. God is a God of order.
Okay.
All right. Then a man should have a purpose.
Purpose.
All right. Miles Monroe said this here. He said, "It's not a tragedy that men die. It's a tragedy when men die and don't know their purpose.
Yes.
Don't know why they're
Love
here.
Miles.
Yeah. Don't know why they're here. So a man has to understand who his creator is and why he was created and what he need to do to fulfill his creation oath.
Okay.
Then boundaries. All right. Man has to understand how to set boundaries, effective boundaries in his life that will keep chaos out and peace in.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Then authority. All right? He has to understand that God has the ultimate authority over us.
Okay.
And that it is through his concept of sovereignty and predestination that he allows us to be who we are. All right. So then responsibility.
Okay.
All right. A man has to understand that he can't be the man if he won't have responsibility for the things that he do. All right. So you can't tell me that you want to run things, but then when I ask you, are you taking care of your kids? You looking at me like I'm crazy. See, it's a responsibility that has to go with the authority, because God said, hey, look, go out and subdue the world. All right. That's what he told him, subdue it. And that basically means that we're supposed to literally have control over something that God gave us permission to have. All right. It's not that we're supposed to do it. It's that we have this higher power that has given us the authority that he has to now present and finish with what we call the creative mandate.
Okay.
All right. So that God will partner with you and then turn around and say, okay, here is what I have called you to do. Because when he said, let there be light, everything was already created. But he, at the same time, he created something called time.
There's that word again.
Yeah. And when he created time, it placed us in a position to whereas some things we have to wait for. But we wait in hope. Hope that, not in the hope of, this thing in earth-wise, but the hope that we know.
Yeah.
Because we operate now in the realm of the finished. See, we operate in the realm of what Jesus has already did. He's finished. When he died on the cross, it's finished. So everything that we're supposed to do is already predestined. He already knew us. He already predestined us. He already justified us. He already called us. He already placed us at a point where we're going to be justified, which means we're going to be brought back to him.
Wow. You heard it here. I am here with Mr. Cornell. We'll be right back after these commercials.
This is Cornell Randolph, the author of The Total Man, and you're listening to The Lively Art of Conversation.
We're back with The Lively Art of Conversation, where you live, you learn, you earn. My goodness, you pass it along. If you have a show in mind, if you have a book or an event that's coming up, or if you just want to buy ads from me, reach out to the Lively Art of Conversation at gmail.com. That's right, Lively Art of Conversation at gmail.com. And we are here with the author himself. He went through the timeline. He talked about his journey. One of the things that he said that I think being a man of integrity, which he graduated from, was I guess I could say the inability to hurt women. So because you have a journey, because your journey went from, I guess you could say, player on the streets type thing.
Fashaw.
To where you are now, because all around you is women.
Yeah.
So
well, now I think it's the seventh core value is where everything hinges, where the glue comes together at, and that's love.
Yeah.
That's love. And now I have learned through the advice and help of my wife that I have been married to for 25 years.
Wow. Bless her.
No, bless her.
Work in progress, huh?
Woo! And now it's because of her. I am who I am. I am the man who I am today. Good. Because of the woman that she was, the woman that she is. And it gave me the opportunity to really stretch what God had called me to do as far as integrity was concerned, as far as this book was concerned. Because when I wrote the book, you know how you write things, but then you're like, okay, I can't live that. I don't know about that one. That was a struggle. It was a struggle. So as time went on, these environments that God placed me in, he gave me the ability to be able to see these 7 core values in person. Right now I'm working with this whereas I no longer, love God because of what he does for me. I'm at the season now, I'm at a high season where I love God because of who he is and nothing else. And because of that, my life has been set into a pattern that is just so outstanding and overwhelming that sometimes I wake up in the morning and I ask God, I'm like, man, why me?
Yeah.
Why me? Why have you done this to me? You know, why have you done this for me?
So for those that are saying, total ban, why should I get this book? Or I want to purchase this book for a gentleman, and is this the right book? What would you say to them?
I would say to them, it's the right book.
Okay.
I would say it's the right book. Because the book is designed for men who's struggling, for
Okay.
men who is who really is trying, that is tired of striving.
Okay.
They want to basically thrive. They're tired of just struggling. They're tired of just throwing stuff up against the wall in the morning, and whatever sticks, that's what they run with through the day.
Okay.
This book basically helps men understand who they are, how to do that which they're supposed to do as men, and why they do it. Yes, it is in a biblical standpoint. However, it is not churchy.
Okay.
It doesn't have a whole bunch of scriptures, thus said the Lord, all that. No. I have struggled with finding that ideal space for it to be at, because church wants to take it and, make it into this holier than thou. But what God was showing me, that there's a practical application for things that we do. And we have to not just look at, that's why it's a holistic approach. It's not just where, we place it in a space where it's only holy. Because there's some things that I talk to men about that I have to face them with that may not be, churchy.
Okay.
Because we may talk about, the issues of men, why you can't stop going over that girl's house and you ain't supposed to be over there. I can't say that in church, I can't say that in every church. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. That's true. That is true.
I can't say that. Why you gotta struggle with pornography? I can't say that in every church. So God has given me a new platform that I'm designing, that I'm still working on, and it's called the Total Man Experience.
Okay.
So I'm working on that. I'm trying to get that into fruition, and I'll see how God is working that out.
So is this book also a book for women that want to find out about their man?
I think so. I think so. Matter of fact, when I went to China, the women or the girls that were there, because they were college students.
Okay.
The girls that were there, they was like, we want him too. We want to talk to him too.
I got you. Yes,
we want to talk to him too, because we need to know what they're out there doing.
Yes. Yeah.
See, because being an ex, playboy, I know what they saying to y'all to get y'all to do what y'all supposed to not do. All right. But here's the man that you're supposed to be looking for. Here's the man that if he doesn't have some of these, and I'm not saying they got to have them all 7 of them, but do he have 1 or 2? Yeah. Is he striving? Is he striving for these things? Or is he just out there?
Wow.
Struggling.
You heard it just here. Lively Art of Conversation. I'm with Mr. Cornell. How do they get their hands on this book?
Well, they can go to Amazon.
Okay, Amazon.
And it's The Total Man by Cornell Randolph.
Okay.
They can email me at Cornell Randolph author I'm sorry, cornellrandolph.author@gmail.com.
All right. And before we close here, we got a few seconds. What wisdom would you like to pass on to those people that are commuting to church right now, or the people that might be in Bell County listening to this, or just someone at work or in their home listening to this show today?
Just let go and let God.
Let go and let God. Thank you, man. I appreciate it, brother, for you being here, for you being the man that you are, and the work that you're doing is priceless, because the good book says that the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. And it's been a long day today, but that is definitely the truth, because there's not a lot of people out there doing the work that you're doing, trying to work with the men in the jails, in the prisons, in the detention center. And that is something that is needed. And I've always said in this area, and I get myself in trouble, but there's close to 300 plus churches all throughout the Bell County. And there's one thing guaranteed in the detention center is Impact Outreach every Wednesday and Saturday. And we got you down with us as well, too. And we know you're over at Travis County. So I appreciate the work you're doing, because those are the forgotten souls.
Yes, they are.
Hey, this is Dr. Rodney Duckett, and we'll see you back next week. You've been watching The Lively Art of Conversation, where we live, we learn, we earn, and we pass along. Thank you, guys.